Okay, we need to restart.
Murphy!
Can you sit with us for a little bit?
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Roses, Rings, and Roast. I'm your host, Morgan, and joining me once again is Jenna.
Hello.
So we're on episode 3. Yes?
Yeah, 3. Sorry.
A lot of drama in this episode. I'm going to try and keep this video nice, short, and sweet this time. We always talk for like 45 minutes, but I edited it down so much. Okay, so we open back up kind of where we left off with Champagne Gate.
The finasco.
Yeah, the finesse. And they're both just like, it's the next day, and they're both just like sitting around crying, pretty much, is what we see to begin with. They talk for like a little bit. They didn't really like resolve anything. Because Kelsey was like, I don't appreciate you calling me a bully because that's not what happened. Because it's not. Bullying means it has to be like repetitive, and it was like one singular fight. So
Yeah, and Kelsey stood by what she said, so that she was calculated.
that water bottle is not gonna be in my video.
I covered it up.
So they go to a one-on-one. It's Peter and Victoria Pete, and they go to like a boot barn.
Yeah, it was weird. Peter was pretending to be country. He's not country. It was a lot.
That's my thing. Peter has never been advertised as like country, and they had a lot of country stuff in this episode.
Yeah.
And they've already had a country singer like episode 1. They're gonna have another country episode next week, or not episode, singer. It's like, why? This won't be my season.
That's facts. But so Victoria P had her little country date. It went pretty well, and then Peter asked her to open up, and she shared a lot about her past, and it was kind of emotional and
It was really sad.
really sad. So then Peter was like, "Wow, I really like you." Basically, that's how.
And
it
then
went.
they made out.
They made out a little
Yeah.
bit, and then Victoria P later on in the episode said she's already starting to fall in love with Peter.
She
so
did.
yeah,
That's aggressive.
yeah, they had a pretty normal date, I'd say.
I feel like every time Peter's talking to a girl, though, he says the same thing, like, over and over again.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? I don't know how I feel
I don't know.
about
I really liked Peter on Hannah's season. I feel like Peter is low-key flopping this season. He's not a great bachelor, I'll say it. Except for I did appreciate. So then they get the group date card.
it. Okay, so on this group date, it's, like, set up by Demi, who was on the last season of The Bachelor with Colton's season. And so the group date is, like, they're doing a giant, like, pillow fight competition, pretty much. And the girls go at each other. The ones, well, Tammy, first of all, was a wrestler in high school, and she started taking people out. But then, so it was Sydney versus Alea, like, in a regular round. And first of all, I thought Sydney, like, beat her up.
Yeah.
Like, watching it, I don't think Alea did anything that special the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second time, they were, like, in the championship round or whatever, I still think Sydney was, like, winning. She hit her the most with the pillow.
But they had already hinted at before this that there was beef between Sydney and Alea because Sydney thinks Alea is kind of like fake and puts on a show for the cameras, so it was like hyped up, and then I think that's why they ended up winning and fighting again because they've been like hinting at this.
Yeah, definitely
issues.
set up by the producers. And then they go to like the cocktail party of the day, and Sydney first talks to Alea, pretty much gets her to say everything that she like is thinking about her, and she's like, oh, so since you have a pageant history, you're like really used to like turning up on for the cameras, like knowing the right things to say. And Alea, the one thing that really caught my attention was she's like, yeah, I know how to get out of uncomfortable questions, which I think was really apparent later in the episode when Peter was like talking to her about the drama. What?
Do you work?
Do you like? That was so
Work.
funny. When Sydney was confronting Alea, she just goes, do you work? And she was
Alea said, yeah, I have like 3 jobs, but never really went into detail about the jobs.
No, did not name any of the jobs. And she was like, oh yeah, because I know when people are like miss something, like that's all they do.
So then after Sydney talks to Alea, she has bad vibes, goes to talk to Peter and tells Peter that she just like has been having a hard time in the house. There's been some girls that like she thinks are kind of fake, but she didn't name anybody by name.
She
and
didn't.
then this is where we were like, this is stupid. Peter calls her out in front of everyone.
What he said was like, he was talking about how his main concerns is that people are putting on a front for the show, and that he doesn't want to like end pretty much how Hannah's season ended, where he ends up like falling in love and picking a person who's like completely different in real life compared to how they were on the show. And that's what Sydney's concern was to him, is that people were putting up that front. So then he says that in front of the whole group, and he's like, and I hate to call you out, but then he's like, Sydney, like, will you share who you think?
Which is not the way to do it.
Sydney was so caught off guard. Oh my god, I felt so bad.
And then after Sydney said it, Alea was like, well, does anyone else feel this way?
And no one said anything,
because everyone's feeling all uncomfy.
Yeah.
Oh, but also, Kelly and Peter had a great moment before this, just sort of bring that back up. Big Kelly fan, so that's important.
Well, because what happened is she called her out, and then no one else said anything, right? Because it's super uncomfortable. Yeah. No one wants to say anything bad about her to her face, except for Sydney. And so then Peter, like, walks off after Sydney calls her out. And then Alea walks off to go talk to Peter and was like, can we talk about that for a second? Starts crying as soon as they sit on the couch, like, my character is being called into question, like, whatever. So then Peter comes back, and that's when they hand out the group date rose after he talks to Alea, and he gives it to Sydney, which
was kind of saucy.
Because, like, I'd give it to literally anyone else who wasn't causing, you know, like,
but he was
not causing drama,
but
he
said he appreciated the fact that she's like looking out for him and stuff, no matter like what that does for her, which I thought was good.
Yeah.
Then Chris Harrison comes into the house and tells them they're gonna have a pool party, which we already know is gonna be drama.
No one got in the pool.
Yeah, so it was basically just a lounge around in the swimsuit party.
Yeah.
So
Peter goes around and starts like talking to everyone. When he first shows up, he's like, I know there's been some drama, and today's like, he pretty much says, today is about me, like, trying to get to the bottom of it. Well, first it cuts to Alea, and she's like talking to her friends, the mean girls, Alea, Hannah Ann,
and McKenna.
God, that's
a squad.
And she's like, I've talked to everyone in the house, and no one else has like said anything bad about me or like whatever. And then it cuts to like Peter talking to like 5 different girls, and all the girls are like, yeah, we noticed she like acts a different way when the cameras are around. The one that got me was like her voice goes up 5 octaves.
And they like put clips of her like talking to somebody, and then like the camera being there and her changing completely. It was really crazy. But then the nail in the coffin, Victoria P.
Oh yeah, well, he talks to Alea first.
Oh, okay.
And Alea thinks they like patched everything up, like all is good. And Peter kind of feels the same way too.
Yeah.
They're fine now. He's like, I really like her, whatever. Not thinking with his head. And so then he goes and talks to Victoria P. and
Victoria P. said that they know each other from pageants, and that Alea was like, don't tell the producers that we know each other. And then Victoria P. basically just said that like she thinks maybe Alea's here for the right reasons, but that if she doesn't win, she's okay with like everything that comes after. Because basically if you go on The Bachelor, you're gonna become an Instagram influencer.
Yeah. Peter gets really upset about that.
Yeah.
So then he pulls Alea aside again, and he says like, did you tell Victoria P. to like lie that you guys knew each other to the producers? And Alea's like, because she did. Because she lied. I know how to get out of uncomfortable questions. I don't think she ever answered Peter's
She said
question.
basically that she thought if the producers knew that they knew each other, then they wouldn't let them stay in the house.
Someone, so I don't remember who it was because I would shout them out, but someone tweeted and was like, we'll get disqualified if we know each other, like whatever she said. And then it shows like the twin sisters who went on The Bachelor.
Together.
It's like, what a freaking joke. Because like Hannah and Kaylin knew each other from pageants, and I'm sure the producers knew that.
Yeah.
Because it caused drama.
I feel like her pants need to be
Addressed. You're right.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Samantha. How do you even describe?
ugly.
Yeah, Alea had the most hideous like swim cover pants on, but she didn't have them pulled up enough, so it was
like we were back in the 90s,
yeah,
you know?
and they were like a weird mesh lacy design.
Yeah.
That just weren't it, and she was strutting around in them, and it was just not cute.
Okay, so I also watch X on the Beach, right? And a lot of girls wear pants like that are complete mesh, and they look amazing in them, and I love them. But her like pattern she had going
Yeah, it
on
was a weird pattern.
would do no one good ever.
The
So
rose.
then Peter, he leaves, and Chris Harrison's like, I know you guys like wanted time with Peter. They weren't gonna have like a cocktail party. This was like their cocktail party, and like 8 girls didn't get to talk to him because of all this. And so they were really upset. McKenna specifically crying about it. And they go straight to the rose ceremony. And so he like starts handing out roses to everyone, and
they keep showing Alea and McKenna. It's the big
Alea and McKenna. And so when it gets down to the final 2 roses, Peter just like walks out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I want to send her home right now. Like, all this.
Peter comes back in, followed by Chris, and Chris says,
He takes one of the roses.
Like, there's been a change. This is now the final rose, and walks out.
And so McKenna and Alea still don't have a rose.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh my God, who's gonna get it? And like, if you've watched The Bachelor before, you're like, Alea's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because the villain always gets it, no matter how much people want them to leave.
Yeah.
But Peter did what everyone wanted him to do. And he chose McKenna. Yay.
Which we were not big McKenna fans, but we were watching it and we were like, McKenna.
I know. I was like, so let's go through the people who got cut. We got Alea. Bye, sisters. Alexa. Jasmine. Sarah. There were more than that. There was 4. No, she is safe. Because we all thought Sheehan was going to go home. It was someone I wrote. Oh, that is 4.
Yeah.
Wow, can't count.
After the ceremony, they show Peter like talking to a producer, all upset.
True.
And he's like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I don't know if I want to let her leave. And the producers are like, are you okay? Like, do you need to sit down? And he's like very distraught. And that's kind of where it ends.
But then the big tea of all.
Mm-hmm.
The previews for next week.
Yeah.
It kind of shows that they leave the house.
Yeah.
And they go to like start traveling, and wherever they went, they were on a group date. They're at the cocktail portion, and Alea just walks up these stairs, and all the girls are like, "Oh my God!"
And she like doesn't talk to them, and she like just goes straight to like find Peter. I think.
Wherever Peter
So
is he gonna like bring her back? She's on there to like clear her name, is what she says from the preview. Which, like, why are you clearing your name? Because you got cut and now you're not going to have a job afterwards either?
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like a lot. Like, if Peter decides he regrets sending her home, like, lets her stay, I'm like, well, you obviously sent her home for a reason. Like,
I'd rather see him bring Hannah B back than
so I think she just needs to be gone and stay gone.
How can she even clear her name, though? Sure, like, everyone calls her fake, whatever. She can be like, that's not my character. She can say that all day. It's not going to matter. But she was caught in a lie.
But I think she's going to come back with something about Victoria P, and then Victoria P is going to be put in a weird position because it does show Victoria P upset.
First of all, Victoria gets a one-on-one next week. But, shocker, they go to a surprise country music guest. The music guest is Chase Rice, who apparently is Victoria F's ex-boyfriend.
So that's going to be a little bit of drama. Very excited to see what
A
happens
little bit?
there.
A
Yeah, it's
lot
gonna
of
be a
it.
lot of drama. First of all, the fact that she dated Chase Rice is like tea. Like, that's kind of saucy.
So
He's
true.
Yeah.
famous, I'm sorry.
First of all, I would just like to say, I don't know who Chase Rice is. I only know that he's a big deal because Sammy and Morgan, who are country fans, told me he was a big deal.
So that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, that's
Because
gonna
I
be...
feel like that's like not something anybody ever expects from The Bachelor, so like it'll be a little twist.
God, to quote every tweet, the devil works hard, but the Bachelor production team works harder.
That's true.
My friend Morgan, we were talking about the previews and stuff from the week before, and she had this really great theory,
Do you wanna
which
share?
I had not heard anything about.
Yeah, I'll
Morgan,
share.
do you want to come share?
Sure.
Please welcome Morgan.
Hi.
This is Morgan. Okay, Morgan, you want to share with them your theory?
Yeah, okay, so I came up with this theory. So at the end, it shows how Peter finds something out, like, right before he gives the, like, last
Final rose.
And he's, like, freaking out. Literally, he says he's gonna pass out. So I'm thinking that one of the girls he had already sent home is pregnant. And they, like, just find that out right before he's about to, like, propose to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
So.
love this idea for television.
Love this theory. Oh my
Love
god.
this for the
The
Bachelor.
drama?
But
And
who do you
because-
think it would be?
That's a
Oh,
great question.
I don't-
Because it's like...
What if it's Sheehan?
Oh my god.
My thing
McKenna.
Oh my god, it would be
I
McKenna.
would see that.
Yeah.
It would be McKenna.
I don't think that the person who gets pregnant, if somebody gets pregnant, is gonna be somebody
Very
that
high
makes
up.
it to final 3.
Because they need that time to realize that they're pregnant.
Yeah.
So, in the sauna, that's a possibility. All right, so Sydney's the top contender for
Yeah, I think
having
it would be
Peter's
Sydney.
baby.
The
No, I
thing is, it
know.
can't be from a fantasy suite because that's not enough time for a girl
No,
to realize
it's absolutely
she's pregnant.
not. So it's not going to be in his top 3, top 4.
Yeah, which is
It's got to be like top
Unless
7,
he
top
had,
8.
unless they hooked
Previously
up.
had
Yeah,
earlier.
true. This is going to be a saucy season.
He's
Buckle
over
up
here
and get
sticking it
ready
in
for the
everything.
turbulence. Well,
Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. Comment down below. Who do you think's gonna get pregnant?
all right. Bye.
See you next week.
Hey, Jordan. I know she watches.